Hey, well, good afternoon and welcome to an Insight Line. My name is Casey.
And I'm Bernard.
Hey, and we're just two guys that are hanging out living our best lives now. How did that come to be? We started walking the ARC path. We even started walking along the ARC path before we knew we called it the ARC path. And that's why it's so practical, is because it's something that we live out every day. And on an Insight Line, what we want to do is invite you to have the insight of recognizing that life above the line is better. And when I say above the line, it's a deep concept inside ARC that we make it very simple, that anything is possible, abundance is available, and you have the choice of what's going to happen next.
I love that, and I love how the last sentence was about choice, and that's really what got us started walking the arc path. Is how did we get here? How did we get to where we were, and
Mm-hmm.
then how do we get to where we are today? And it's all the choices that we make. Unfortunately, we live in a world where choices are not recognized as a pathway to success or pain. Actually, probably a little bit more. We accept them when they lead
Yeah.
to success, just not when they lead to
Yeah.
pain. And that's what we're trying to change, is this crazy old and new paradigm that choices matter. The choices you make matter.
Because the choices matter, we recognize that there are no bad choices. There's just choices that you're going to make that are going to reveal something. And every time you do get that new understanding, you're going to grow, you're going to gain, you're going to have a better choice to make a next one ahead of you. And insight to this line is actually inviting you to see that ARC is a pathway. When I say ARC, it's the acronym right behind me. It's acknowledge, heal, restore, and find the kingdom place where you were designed, you were gifted, you were equipped, you were called to do, to be, and to become something in this world. And along the arc path, we invite you to discover that. And that's where the fun is where you begin to recognize that I'm having fun. It's not hard to be me. Oh my gosh, this is the best I've ever experienced life and relationships and joy. Work is no longer work, it's an opportunity and it's filled with joy. And so today, what we're going to look at is just a recognition that the choices you make, some of them are yearly, some of them are daily, some of them are moment by moment. And we want to look at those and invite you to recognize the difference of them and how you can capitalize on those going forward. So the tagline to this live was resolutions versus resolutions. I just lost it. Resolutions versus
Revelation.
revelations. Thank you. That was a nice revelation. I had a resolution not to forget that, but I needed a revelation to help me finish the process. And that is what we're going to engage today is what is some of the differences of a resolution and a revelation. And then we want to tie in some realizations about those things. It is not good versus bad. We're not contrasting and saying if you made a resolution, oh, you're done because only 20% of people ever make it half to the end. That's not what we're talking about today. And if you are looking for revelations, we're going to talk about that, but that's not the end all either. It's actually how do you move through those, engage those, and make the most of them.
Well, it's you start one choice at a time. And really, what we're looking at is one resolution at a time.
Mm.
Because really, your choices lead to a need for a resolution. Most of our lives, we live by it's just what I call this autopilot, where we're just kind of moving every day until something happens. There's an event that creates a pause. And there are pauses that are celebrations, but most of the pauses that we have are not celebrations, and that's
Mm.
what we're trying to shift. The realization and the revelation is about that. What are the things that are making you pause in your day to day, going, "Here it is again"? And so we want to shift from that to a revelation, going, "Hey, my day should be a moment by moment celebration,"
Mm.
and that's what we're after.
So as we're on Facebook today with you, I'm going to pull that and we're going to come back to that. If you're watching and you want to type us a question, we can see it. Feel free to put it in the chat below, whether you're on my personal page or whether you're on the Arc Path page. We are available to chat with you about your resolutions. We're available to chat with you about revelations, and maybe it is even your realizations, because we want to celebrate with you in a moment by moment basis. So that's just an invite to you. If you're watching along with us, we say hi and we celebrate where you're at with us today.
I love that. I love
I
that.
want to go back and have you recapture a little bit of that because I took it and now I want to go back to it.
Okay. Just well, one of the things, a starting point is as we move in our day-to-day lives,
Mm-hmm.
the typical day there might be something that we celebrate. There might be a pause where we celebrate
On a good day.
on a good day.
Yeah.
The majority of the days, there's no good pause. What there is the norm, and then there's a bad pause,
Mm.
and the bad pause shakes us.
Yeah.
It bothers us. We get upset. We get angry. We lose hope. We lose faith. We struggle, and then we make it to the end of the day. Go, another day. I made it through another day, and guess what? Nothing to celebrate. And you go, all right, but tomorrow is going to be better. And then you wake up tomorrow, and then you move in that direction. And what we're trying to shift is, what would life look like is if moment by moment there was pauses of celebrations.
Yeah. And so the invitation as we look at resolutions is, we're in January. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions. And what we want to invite you on AHRK Path Recognition is to say, why would you only make a resolution once a year? What is it about January 1 versus December 31 that makes that resolution stickier, more powerful, more engaging? And I'll give you the answer. It's because other people are doing it. But imagine if you had a community of individuals that were making resolutions all the time. And it didn't matter if it was the 18th of March and you said, I have a resolution. I have decided. I am making a commitment. And a lot of that is because to make a resolution, you have to actually kind of have a resolve. You have to have a lens on where you've been in the past and what you want to do differently, which we already talked about this as change and choice. So a resolution is simply a choice to vocalize your desire to have something different. Resolutions, changing, difference.
I mean, you know what? The moment by moment resolutions just don't exist. We're not taught to evaluate our lives. We're not taught to evaluate our cultures, our heritage, and you're definitely not taught to change your workplace. Hey, this is our work norms. Stick to it, and then it gets really bad. This is how we do it in our house, so don't do it differently. And so what that leads to is that cycle that I was talking about, where there's lack of celebrations, because now you're just walking through this haunted house and hoping that you don't get a scary something that comes out of you to break that, to break you actually. But the reality is resolution going, I want to change that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through that same routine, that same pattern. And so we talk about resolutions going, I resolve to change this in my life. And we want to invite you to do that as a lifestyle. That's what the AHRK path is the acknowledgement going, hey, there's something that's not working. And that's something, it needs healing, because guess what? If you don't heal it, you're just going to repeat it. And then we're back into the haunted house scenario. You're stuck there, guys.
So I'm going to make that a little more simple. I'm going to draw it out again. When we acknowledge, we're recognizing that yes and no is possible. If you're going to make a resolution, it's because you're going, something can be different. That's yes and no. It can be. Will it be? I don't know yet, but I want to resolve to make it different. Healing is where we go in and say, what am I going to say no to so that it changes? Restoration is what I'm going to go in to say yes to so that I become the driving force of that change. I have to say yes to something. Kingdom is where you celebrate it and you live it out and you touch it. It's real and you go, it's worked. Or it's working, or it's working me, and then you go back to the acknowledgement state and walk through it again and again. So what we've been unpacking here is that resolutions are not just one and done. Make it daily. Make it personal, make it practical, make it in your public workspace, bring it to your home, and recognize that, hey, change doesn't happen unless something changes. That something is you. And you begin to acknowledge that and move into that. As we dive into this next concept of it, we look at revelation. When I say I have a resolution, that means something. When I say I have a revelation, what does that mean differently? So as you hear those two words, I have a resolution, I have a revelation, how do you hear that? Not just from me personally, but from anybody else.
I think it's newness. It's insight into something in my life, and it's awareness. And we talk a lot about our choices that we make to the people around us. We all look at each other, and go, I know your pain is because of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. We don't have revelation to recognize that because it's a norm in our lives. And revelation is that insight going, oh, wait a minute. this might be the cause of my pain, and everybody's around going, yeah.
Mm.
And so that's revelation, and it could be on a massive scale, or it could be on a personal moment by moment scale. And for me, that's what revolution is.
So I
Re-
had a revelation.
revelation.
I have revelations when you speak. This is good. So keep it up. I'm wondering out loud with you right now if our resolutions are often anchored in a pain that we want to get rid of. Meaning, this isn't working. I've had struggle. I've got to quit smoking. I'm no longer going to drink. These are New Year's resolutions. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to get a new job. I'm going to reconnect with somebody. Resolution. Revelation, I wonder if it comes out of ambition, if it
Hmm.
comes out of desire, out of vision, out of hope. I'm just musing. What do you think? Push back on it.
Well, I'm going to make it practical, because earlier Casey said, I'm going to make it simple, and I was like, well, everything I just said was simple, and so I'm like, wait a minute, so it was not simple. So then I spiraled, and as he was talking, so now I'm going to make it practical.
There you go.
Add to that, but again, it's the revelation. Does it, as I give it back to Casey, is it anchored in hope?
Mm.
And is resolution anchored to try to resolve a hopelessness in our lives? I don't know, but man, that sounds so good.
Practical, I'm not sure. Insightful, yes. I'm gonna pull that and tease it a little bit. I wonder if resolutions that don't work are made from a hopeless place.
Mm,
It's a wishful thinking.
yeah.
I'm going to make a resolution to do this, and I'm not going to change anything. I was doing X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to resolve that I'm no longer going to do X, Y, and Z. But the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow is X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
That's hopeless.
Yes.
But what we recognize is that a resolution is to see a change happen.
Yes.
A revelation is often a declaration that change has happened.
Hmm.
Give that one back.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
The
We're not practical necessarily yet. We're going to get there.
the problem is with that you dive in, you cross a spiritual dividing line.
I do that often.
I know. So for revelation to have already happened, that's not practical.
No, that's good.
You're crossing over into the spiritual realm where it's already happened in a different reality. Now you can accept that. Most people saying, if you can actualize it in your mind, you can actualize it in your reality,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a similar concept. But can you actualize the gosh, can you actualize it, the revelation that it's already happened? Can you believe that it's already happened, where I will not live any other way but this, and therefore that's the only way I'm going to live moving forward?
I say yes and amen.
Ah,
That's a must to
yes.
be able to. So I'm going to put another R word on that. Realization.
Mm,
What you just described is somebody that had a revelation and they didn't leave it there, but they matched that revelation with conviction. They said, "This is true.
yeah.
This is real. This is now mine, and I'm going to put it into a realization, an operation mode, if you would, that it is the practical you were talking about.
Yes.
It's not mysterious. It's not spiritual. It's not hypothetical. It's something that's actualized in me,
Yes.
and now I'm going to bring it into a realization. It's going to
Yes.
define my reality.
Yes.
And I think that's really where we want to go, is looking at a resolution that lives in hypothetical possibility realm that's never realized, doesn't come to pass. A revelation that you receive that doesn't bring into this conviction level and actualize it, doesn't ever come into a realization of how your life is going to live out that way. And so talk to me, Bernard, about the reality of AHRK. How is AHRK both a resolution and a revelation in your reality?
Well, I think the pattern is that I've been through it. And what that means is I've had an encounter where I've acknowledged something, I've healed it, I've restored it, and now I'm living it out where it's a norm in my life. Therefore, I've gone through that process of resolution, revelation, because again, the acknowledgement, the healing, the restoration, the revelation comes in every facet of it, not one. So in every facet, you're getting revelation, revelation, revelation. But the beauty about ARC is once you get to the K, that reality no longer exists for you. It's this smoking. I used to be a smoker, but I still get that. It's like, no, I'm not a smoker. That's it. It's done. I'm done with it. I am not a smoker because I've gotten the revelation. I've gotten the actualization, and now the realization is I'm no longer a smoker. So I can walk in. I could care less. You can smoke as much as you want around me. I'm not a smoker.
Yeah.
That's it. It's done. And I'm not a smoker, but I mean, cigar maybe every now and then.
What I love that you just took it to is really the core context of why make a resolution or seek a revelation anyway. It really it boils down to identity and purpose. We make resolutions because we're trying to show up as somebody that we think we can. We want to show up as a better version of ourselves. We desire to see change happen. And those are all identity and purpose concepts. That revelation comes in. They're the aha moments. It's where our failure turns into learning and success because we're not going to repeat the things that we've done that didn't work. And so our identity and our purpose again matures in a new way. And along that arc path experience is really what we're inviting people to discover. Who are you? And so when Bernard says, I'm not a smoker, let's flip that and say, who am I? I am.
That's exactly what I wrote. He was thinking it, saying it, and I was writing it. I love that because that is the reality. Is the revelation is it's about an action that I'm doing, but fundamentally it's about who I am, and that's a revelation in itself. I think that it's a lot of our patterns, a lot of the things that we live them out is because again cultural. We've been told, we've been taught to do it this way, and we've been programmed to do it this way. It's how do you change your programming?
Yeah.
Because there's something that's bringing me pain. How do I change that? And the reality is that I have to acknowledge it, I have to heal it, I have to restore it, I have to fix it so that I don't keep living out the same pattern. But wait a minute, that's how my parents taught. That's how my parents did it.
Yeah.
That's how my grandparents did it. I'm going to do it the same, but it's bringing me pain every time. I think that's the I don't want to say it's the wake up call, but that's the pattern of resolving, going, hey, I need to do it differently.
And so now we're going to invite you. What do you want to do differently? What do you want to see differently? How does better show up in your life? And which of these statements resonates for you today? I have a resolution. I have a revelation, or I have a realization. We invite you to any of those three. And the way that we live those things out, Bernard and I are both business owners, and we both love to work and to build and to express our joy and our celebration in what we do. And then we also have a desire to walk alongside with other people to go, we'd love to partner with you. We'd love to share ARC with you and your business. And we call that team building. So how does team building, Bernard, come into this pattern or this pathway in ways that you've seen it? You can speak to their business or speak to your own.
Well, we need to learn from each other, and what we find is this realization to start at the end begins with a revelation. But before that, there's a resolution that you have to make. And this is the invitation is, how do you come into relationship with us? So if you want to shift in your business, who doesn't want to change in their business? Can I raise my legs? I want to change my business every day. Can I do it better? Can we have less problems? Yeah.
Whose business isn't been changing every day since 2020?
That's it.
It's coming into a new realm of understanding of going, if I don't change, I'm way behind.
That's right. But you're doing it alone. And for most of us, we don't have enough revelation. And revelation comes from a community of people that have been there, but not have been there in the past, have been there yesterday. Because that's how fast the world is changing today. So how can you get plugged into a community that where change is normal? There's a pathway to not only change, but to help you adopt it, to have your team adopt this change. And that's what we've done. We've been doing this for a while now, going, We've seen industries that need to change. We've jumped in to try to change the industries, and at the end of the day, it's a pathway going. How do you change people to improve their business, to improve their lives, and really you walk the ARC path.
And the reality that Bernard and I have concluded is we can't change anybody, but you can choose it and they can choose it. And as we engage team building, people recognize that change was once easier. If you go back in your story of your life, think about when change was fun. When was exploring an adventure something that you enjoyed? And sometimes you have to go all the way back to a playground experience and you were a little child and go, the curiosity of looking around with 7 or 8 people and going, what game do we want to play? And then somebody would toss something out and you'd go after it and you'd play it. That doesn't exist in business today for many, many environments. It's the same thing over and over again. It's work harder, get the job done, go home, and then leave it there, and then you'll go back and do it again tomorrow. And that's what we're addressing in team building, is recognizing that when you are having fun in your work environment, when you enjoy the people that you spend almost most of your life with in some settings, you can have more creativity and more productivity, which produces a greater outcome in your business.
Bring us into your business as a resolution. Let us interview you. Let us interview your business, and then let us bring the ARC path to your business. The concept of team building is not new. It's just that it's needed so badly today. The world's changed so rapidly. You need a system that helps your people adapt and adopt all the change that's happening. And that's all we're proposing, is that it requires a personal change and a business change, and a personal change and a business change. Just saying, hey guys, just do it this way, not helping people process the emotions and life change, is not going to work. That's what we're seeing that in the communities all around the world, as people are quitting their jobs because they can't get themselves to do these tasks. And you go, but everybody's done these tasks for a very long time. It's just people need to plug into the workplace, and today it's the biggest challenge that we have.
Yeah. I have a phrase that I say often for myself, is that health can come individually. I can make personal choices for health, and I'm the one responsible for what goes in my body, if I choose to exercise. So individually, I can choose health, but healing, it takes a community. It takes the people around you. And that's where the challenge is because if everybody around me is throwing daggers at me, wounding me, challenging me, if I don't enjoy my workplace environment, and every time I step into that place, my head goes down and I feel discouragement, that's why healing is almost impossible when you're in a negative environment. And so what we are inviting and what we are practicing is simply recognizing that healing can happen in a community, and that healing is the H of ARC. It's simply we acknowledge what is. This is what it is. And then we go, how can we transform an environment to bring about healing as a community? Then we can move into restoration. Restoration is the growth mode. And a lot of businesses and individuals, they go directly towards restoration. They go, hey, we need to be better at communication. So let's bring in a communication training, and boom, we go after it. That's good. But if it's built on a foundation of negativity and animosity and frustration and disgust, well, guess how long that communication new skill set's going to last? Moments. Yeah. It's going to go right out. But if we can bring in some healing and bring that recognition that community can be restored and built and connected, we do that through team building. Then when you bring in something of training, you want to work on the mindset of the company, you want to work on the community, even the leadership skills. Get your leadership team together and recognize that every single one of those leaders has a different opinion. Can we work together, or are we at odds with each other? This is the ARC path of team building.
Now, we're going to give you some free revelation right now. And the reality is nobody wants a toxic environment. Nobody, from management to any of the individuals, nobody wants to work and live in a toxic environment. I mean, raise your hand if you want to live in a toxic environment. Nobody's going to raise their hand. So we all have a mutual goal. The challenge is team building is so critical, because everybody's pulling in their own direction. So if you got 5 or 50 people in an organization, it's like, well, to get to a successful outcome, we're going to move this way. And then what you find, 50 people going in 50 different directions, even though, hey, this is the company line, it doesn't matter. And that's team building. You don't know what people are thinking. You just see what they're doing that's disruptive. You go, what's wrong with these people? team building is critical. You bring it out into the open. We have fun, playful conversations where now you learn how to engage each other in a healthy way because everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be part of something that's successful, and that takes it takes a process to get there, to really unveil that we're all on the same team, moving in the same direction.
So we'll go back to the insight line that we started the episode with. Every time we're on the ARC Path insight line, we want to help you recognize that life below the line is just as much a reality as life above the line. Are you ready for the realization that you don't have to be stuck below the line? You make a resolution to say, I want life above the line. So then you have a revelation, as Bernard said, oh, there's a pathway to come above the line. And then you can actually realize it by living there. Life below the line is what Bernard just described. It's drama, it's animosity, it's frustration, it's gossip, it's backbiting, it's this workplace environment that I hate the boss, but I have to love the boss. I can't stand who I work with, but I'm not in charge of it. Everything's always broken, or I don't like this place, but there's nothing I can do about it. That's life below the line. And the ARC Path is simply there to acknowledge there's healing that can take place and restoration that can take place that can change your experience in the very same workplace. Now, no guarantees and no obligations, but you might even begin to recognize that it was a mindset that you had that was creating more toxic environments in that place. And then you come into the ARC Path, you step above the line and you go, oh my gosh, it's like a breath of fresh air. I can be the hope in this place. And then sometimes in those workplace environments, you can be the catalyst for change. And other times, just being as transparent as possible, your change reveals, I have opportunity to do different things. You know, I've always wanted to do something and I never thought I could do it, but now I know that I do have purpose in the world. Going back to identity and purpose that's found on the ARC Path.
Yes, love. I mean, it's a lot of newness for a lot of you, and what I invite you to do is find the starting point.
Yeah.
It's this insight that we have that we bring into organizations is something. There's a pattern to it, and that's all we're saying is that it's not. There, it's your life is not this random sequences of events. There is a pattern to it. And it's not that we're going to give you the pattern. We're going to give you a pathway to help you recognize the pattern. Now imagine team building where every member on the team is recognizing this pattern in their lives, pattern that brings around toxic situations.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to shift. It's something that we do. It's something that we celebrate because we live it out every day. And guess what we're doing? We are learning every day. We're learning more about ourselves. We're learning more about each other. And of course, as kind of Casey was saying, is that there's healing every day. Again, who doesn't want healing every day? Man, I want healing every day. Not every other day. I won't make it to that other
I don't
day.
even I need it.
Yes. Yes.
I live in a real world.
Yes. And so we need to do that as a community, and imagine the workplace today. It's needed more than ever. So again, if you want to hit us up on that, just text the number below. You can message us on social media as well. We want to do a free consultation just to see, hey, what are the resolutions that you're making? Bring us into your family, bring us into your business. What are the resolutions that you're personally making? And let's see how we can bring the ARC Path into your community and bring transformation.
Bernard, I think we should go a step farther. I know.
Yes, I love that.
I think that,
Why not?
we know, that's the love. We know team building, we've experienced team building, but somebody out there might not even have a clue. They might go, is this a training? Is this weird? What do we do? We want to give you an opportunity to touch team building as an individual. And so if you message the number right there on the screen or reach out to us on social media and say, I want in. That's what you got to text. I want in. We will send you a link into our next team building session, and we will bring you in. We'll let you experience it. We can talk about it. Out of that, we can have a consultation to talk about where you would like to see it go, how we think we could bring it to your context. But this, try before you buy element kind of thing. Come take it for a test drive. It'll be worth it. Do you think we can do that?
I think so. I think you have to experience it. And for me, it's whether you do the consultation or whether you come in and you experience the team building, you're gonna get this experience,
Yeah.
and the experience that it's real. Change is possible. I mean, you want it, well, it's out there somewhere, and the reality is, if you've made it here, the invitation is try it.
So Bernard, what are we just talking to business CEOs who want to change their Fortune 500 companies?
We'd like to. It's a big
Yes.
job, but the reality
Somebody's
is,
got to do that.
but it's for every local business. It's every, again, we're a family business. You're a family business, and the reality is, what we've learned is, because we've worked with corporate and we worked with family, it doesn't matter. Guess
Yeah.
what, guys? It's the same conversation, because what do we all have in common? People.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have any employees on your team, you have business relationships. Who are your networking partners? Let's get together and do team building around your networking partners. And if that doesn't make sense to you, if you're a real estate agent and you work with a broker and you have somebody that does title and license, and you have somebody that does a different element in that gameplay, get the 5 or 6 of you together and let's do team building together, because you are dependent on trusting one another.
Yeah.
And that is a key component that team building is going to draw out. And you go, well, I don't know. I'm a stay-at-home mom. If maybe you like that title, maybe you don't. Guess what? You're a business owner. Maybe you and your husband, and you've got a babysitter, and you've got this. I don't know what your system is, but bring those 3 to 4 people together and go, let's do team building. There are ways of looking at life and saying, how can I choose better? And this is where we talk about healing really comes in community. What is the community that you're surrounded with?
Love that.
It's there for them.
I think so, and it's real. I think this element of community is overwhelming to a lot of people. But the fact is, you're already in those communities,
Mm-hmm.
and having the courage to go, hey, you want to try something together? So because again, what are we all looking to do? We're trying to contend with what's happening in the world around us, in our work, in our businesses, but everybody's on their own track.
Yeah.
So that's how you change the conversation. Hey, let's get together. Let's try something different together, and that's the invitation. It works. We do it all the time, and it's a lot of fun, by the way. And that's the other part that we didn't really talk a lot about. Is it's not just you're not being drilled content. It's you're living this model out every day, and you're being given the tools to live out this model every day, which makes it a lot of fun, actually. So it's and for me, that's one of the biggest things that we don't talk enough about, how fun the ARC path is,
Mm-hmm.
because again, it's a serious topic. But the reality is, it's an amazing pathway, because it works without all the pressure of having to succeed at it.
So we'll bring you back full circle as we wrap it up. Did you get a revelation today, or did you get a resolution today? That's the invitation. It's not a contrast against one another, but it's saying, what do you need? Do you know that you go, I want to do something different, and now I know what to do? You have a revelation. Do you look at it and go, I've never tried team building. I'm willing to try something new and different. You have a resolution. Bring those together. And then the other R word we talked about today was the realization. You are not stuck. Below the line is not the only option. If you are in a workplace environment that you do not enjoy, you don't need team building to just be about your business. Come and bring it for yourself, and then build a team around you. You want a business? You want a job? Talk to us. We can find ways for you to start something new on the side that can become bigger than what you're doing in the place that you're at right now. We'd love to expand our opportunities with you. You have more options than you've known, and sometimes you just need to come sit with dreamers and visionaries and leaders like Bernard and I, and we will be happy to just listen, lead with our ears, and help you to see what's possible.
Love that.
Wrap it up.
Beautifully said. I love that insight that it doesn't matter where you're at, whether it's in any community, in any organization, change is personal. It begins with one voice, one choice, and then you find other voices that will listen to this voice. Guys, it happens all the time. This is not it's not a pipe dream. This is a reality. Start. You go, but I can't get my entire organization in. No, you come. You come into the ARC path, you sign up for the workshops, you begin the process of change, and that's where you realize, wait a minute, this is not so difficult. And that's you become that voice of hope in your organization for change, and just imagine what would happen next.
Send us a message. I want in, and we'll see you soon.